Hello and welcome to the 2010 British Supermoto season review, and what a great season of racing it has been. We'll have all the highlights for you coming up over the next hour, so let's kick it off with a reminder of what happened in round one at Three Sisters. Well, we made it the final round of the 2010 British Supermoto Championship, and what a great season it's been. Some fantastic racing in very difficult conditions, and one man who knows all about that is 9 times winner. Christian, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Back to reclaim your King of the Hill title.
It's nice to come and do the one-off rides that I can do. I'm going out to Australia to compete in the Australian Supermoto Championships in December, so I've got a few rides lined up just to keep myself back on it.
And it's certainly good to have you back. Your dad Paul is here with you today, who was quite an inspiration to you in your early years and got you on the bike.
Yeah, my dad used to race, and he says he was really fast, so I have to take his word for it. He's got a few videos, but it looks like it's in slow motion, so.
Was he any faster than you though?
Not at all, not at all.
You say you're better?
Yeah, I've been out with him recently, and whatever he had, he's definitely lost it.
Oh, do not tell your dad that. Well, thank you very much for that, Christian. And now it's the moment you've all been waiting for, the championship decider, our season finale at Cadwell Park. Always promised to be a day to remember, and it was. Here it is. Well, it was another sunny day in Wigan and more fantastic racing on a superb track. And one man who was enjoying himself was Sammy Salstola. How did you enjoy the circuit there?
Yeah, the track was good, and I like the tarmac jump. It's perfect for me, and it's fast track. I liked it.
And you're with Motor Supply Susquehanna. How are you finding the bike this year?
Yeah, it's just make some deal, and I'm happy for it for this year, and everything is good.
You're very happy. Well, thank you very, very much for that, Sammy. And now let's move on to round 5 and over to Manchester's Sports City, which was transformed into a Supermoto track. Welcome back to the 2010 British Supermoto season review. Let's not waste any time in revisiting the Three Sisters in Wigan for round 4 of this year's championship. So as you can see, they do play sport at the City of Manchester Stadium, and what a day it was. But unfortunately, not so much for you, Andy. Yeah, took a knock, forcing you to retire early. What happened?
Yeah, basically on first or second lap of the first race, I caught my foot on a curb edging that had appeared that dug out of the ground, so actually broke my little toe and damaged my ankle, so I had to pull up.
Bit nasty. How does that affect you mentally when you take a knock like that?
It gets annoying, really. I mean, it's not been my best season so far. I mean, luckily I can't remember much of the crash. I even got a free helicopter ride, but I can't remember any of it, so.
And really not the way you want to take a helicopter ride, is it?
Not really, no.
Not over the Grand Canyon, maybe.
Yes.
I've heard rumours that you might be hanging up your leathers after this. Is that true?
It is true. I've done 10 seasons now, so it's time to take a step back and pack in with the full commitment to racing, you know.
Well, I'm sure you'll be sadly missed. Thank you very, very much for that. And that's all we had time for in part 2, but we'll be catching up with the rest of the 2010 British Supermoto season after this break. See you then. Well, as far as Supermoto circuits go, Manby is mainly dirt rather than tarmac, and one man who took full advantage of that was Craig Vensky. You like a bit of dirt?
Yeah, it went off pretty good. Like I say, coming from a motocross background, I prefer a lot more dirt than tarmac, but there are a few rounds this year that have more tar, so I've got to get used to it, but right now the dirt's what I prefer, so yeah.
Well, strictly speaking, Supermoto circuits are 25% dirt, 75% tarmac, tracks that don't really lend themselves to that. Do you think that's a disadvantage or a fair thing, really, for many of the other riders?
I think on a full for the sport has to be what it is. 25 to 75 is the percentage, like you say, and that should be applied. But like you say, some tracks won't allow it because of the cleaning up afterwards, especially if it rains. Which is a big cost.
Well, considering obviously your leg was in plaster for most of it.
Yeah.
By the time you got to Manby, how was it faring?
Yeah, it was all right. I'd done quite a bit of training afterwards, after I broke it and got better and done a bit of motocross, so it did make it strong. But now in winter, it's starting to get a little bit sore again, so it is what it is, really.
And what are your thoughts ending the season and moving on to the future?
I'd like to go and do Grand Prix next year, if I can get a good deal for next year, and then be able to get across, to get abroad and go and do some Grand Prix. That'll be cool, because you don't just want to stay racing, you want to go overseas, so that'll be good.
Well, thank you very much for that, Craig. And things are really nearly hotting up towards the end of this season, but not really so much so for Blyton, where now it's over to a very soggy round 8.
The Union flag drops.
Well, that's where the 2010 season started, and it also started for one man with a few technical problems, Mr. James Haddock. How are you?
All right, you?
Not bad, thank you very much. What was the problem? What went wrong?
I've had front brake trouble all day. It's been a bit of a, you can call it a ball ache. But it's getting better for me. It's a bit hard to remember.
Well, you managed to put it right though, didn't you, for the final?
Yeah, I did, yes. And I do like the circuit, but it's a really hard bike to set up around that track. So eventually, I'll get a setup.
You mean you can have a bit of a lie-in on the morning?
Yeah.
That's what it's about, isn't it? Bit of a lie-in and a bacon butty.
Yeah, it's nice.
Generally at the start of the season, what were your thoughts going into it through all your training?
Just try as hard as I could.
Time now for round 7 at Manby, where the competitive streaks really started to glow. Let's take a look.
Craig Venske getting a great finish for the Super South African today.
See, I told you it was sunny, and one man who made the most of that sunshine, despite missing a few corners, was Mr. Ben Kirkman. How are you?
I'm okay today, thank you.
And how are you feeling about that incident?
It wasn't one of my better moves, but it's racing. You try and you push and you make mistakes. You just have to learn from them.
Wasn't all too bad though. You did come second.
I did, yes. I did come second. I did lead the race 3 times, but second isn't a disaster.
And how do you feel about the track at Blyton generally?
I do like the track at Blyton because it combines a lot of different things. You've got your tarmac, you've got concrete, you've got shale, you've got mud, so it's a proper supermoto track. It's been around for a long time, and I think it will be around for a long time to come.
Mixture of everything.
It is, yeah.
And tell me about your love of Supermoto, because it all happened quite unusually for you, didn't it?
It is, yeah. I actually came from a trials background. I used to come with my friend and help him, and now he comes with me and helps me. So that's how it all began for me.
So you send him out for the tea now?
That's right, yes.
That's the way to do it. Well, thank you very, very much for that, Ben. Join us after the break for a look at round 4 and what happened at Three Sisters. See you then.